हेलो एंड वेलकम अगेन टू फिजिक्स गैलेक्सी। आज हम एक और क्वेश्चन करने जा रहे हैं जो कि क्लासिकल मैकेनिक्स से आया था इस बार के नेट एग्जाम में। ओके, एंड द क्वेश्चन इज अ पार्टिकल ऑफ यूनिट मास दैट इज m इक्वल्स टू 1 लिख सकते हैं हम, एंड यूनिट चार्ज दैट इज q इक्वल्स टू 1 लिख सकते हैं हम, is moving in a magnetic field which varies as b equals to p naught r vector divided by r cube. Okay, basically it's an inversely proportional to r square. Okay, for a region far away from the origin, if L is the instantaneous angular momentum of the particle within that region, then dl by dt is. Okay, so this is our question. और ये हमारे पास चार ऑप्शंस गिवन थे. Okay, now dl by dt हमको फाइंड करना है. So we know dl by dt, that is rate of change of angular momentum, is basically a torque. Okay, and torque we know it's a cross product of r cross f, है ना. Now we also know what is force that will be acting on this unit charge and unit mass, that will be the Lorentzian force. So F equals to Q times V cross. Okay, because Q equals to 1, so we can simply write this force as V cross V. Okay, now substituting this force into this one, so what we'll get? So we'll get dl by, so we'll get dl by dt equals to r cross v cross b. Okay, so this is our instantaneous angular momentum. Now what we'll do, we'll use triple cross product rule. So, so let's use triple cross product rule. So which is, if we have suppose a cross b cross c, a cross b cross c, we can write it as b vector times a dot c minus c vector times a dot b. Okay, so this is our triple cross product rule. Now if we use the same formula for our expression, we'll get dl by dt equals to, मैं यही फॉर्मूला यूज कर लूंगा. ओके, सो इट विल बिकम v टाइम्स r dot b minus b times r dot v. Okay, so let's solve it. So we know v is actually dr by dt, and r dot b. So r dot b equals to r dot r. So b का अपना वैल्यू क्या है, b नॉट r वेक्टर डिवाइडेड बाय r क्यूब माइनस b का अपना वैल्यू क्या है, b नॉट r वेक्टर बाय r क्यूब टाइम्स r वेक्टर डॉट b. Okay, so what we'll get, so it will be dr by dt, dr vector by dt. Now r vector dot r vector, so that will become r square. Okay, and the angle between them is 0, so cos 0 equals to 1. So what will we get, we'll get simply b naught r square by r cube, that will be b naught by r simply, right? Now what about the second term? So let's solve the second term. That is, first of all, let's evaluate this r dot v cap, r dot v vector. Okay, r dot v vector. So r dot v vector, which equals to r dot. Now velocity, I can write as dr by dt, as we know dr by dt, but that can be further written as in terms of spherical coordinates. So that will be r dot r cap plus r theta dot theta cap plus r sine theta phi dot in the direction of phi cap. Now you don't have to remember all these terms. So if you can only remember that dr by dt is equals to dr vector by dt equals to r dot r cap, and you don't have to remember this factor and this factor. Why? Because ultimately you have to dot it with r vector. So when we dot it with this, only this term will survive. When we dot it with this, it will become 0. Why? Because r vector dot theta cap will be 0, perpendicular, right? Similarly, r vector dot phi cap will also be 0, because you know that r vector, theta vector, and phi vector, so they are all perpendicular to each other, right? So, so what will be the term remaining? So it will be only the first term. So it will become r times r dot, right? So r times r dot. So this is the only term that will be surviving. So r times r dot. So we'll write it here. So b naught r vector divided by r cube times r dot, right? So now b naught is common, so we can take it out. So b naught 1 over r dr vector by dt minus, we can write it as r vector, and r vector. Now here is one r, and one r will get cancelled out, so it will be r squared in the bottom. So you can write r dot, or simply I can write d r by dt. Remember, it's not vector here, okay? It's simply dr by dt 1 over r square. Okay, so which equals to b naught 1 over r dr vector by dt minus, or you can I can write plus r vector times minus 1 over r square dr by dt, right? Now look carefully here. So this is b naught, then it's 1 over r dr vector by dt plus r vector, and this little expression is can be written as d by dt of 1 over r, because d by dt of 1 over r will become minus 1 over r square and dr by dt. So it looks like this is the dr vector by dt plus r vector d by dt of 1 over r. If you look carefully, okay, at this expression, you will see that it resembles with b naught, because first factor, then the differentiation of second factor, then the second factor differentiation of the first factor. So we can write some place d by dt of r vector r, right? This is our answer. Now if you look at the options, that is your third option.